Hello and welcome to another day of the Journey Beyond Yourself Summit. I am absolutely delighted and very honored that today we have as a guest speaker, Ruda Iande. Ruda is a shaman, and I am going to leave it to him to explain what on earth that is. If you wouldn't mind, and welcome, Ruda.
Hello, Sally. Hello, everybody. Nice, very nice to be here with you. And a shaman is basically someone who is in tune with their own nature. And when a human being is really in tune with one's inner nature, we are in tune with all the elements around us. We can listen and we can have our speech, our actions, our mind and body aligned with the planetary consciousness. And what a shaman does is helping people to find this same connection, the same tune, so we can live in deep connection with this energy and consciousness of life that exists within and around us everywhere in every single element that comes from Gaia, our planet.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. And I know that you were initiated into the shamanic principles at a young age. Can I ask, how did you get to where you are now? Because I know you do amazing transformational work with people, but how did you get from, what was your kind of story to here? How did you end up doing what you're doing now?
It's a long story, almost 30 years of deep study and researching everywhere I could. And I must confess that despite I could find amazing people who helped me along the process, the main thing happened between me and myself, nobody else. And there's some place in shamanism, and I think in the spiritual life, that we must enter alone, right? And we must go to the same place you are calling us to go in this summit. We must go beyond our mind. We must stop our quest itself, because I started my journey, my spiritual journey as a teenager. I was full of excitement and full of questions, and also I must confess, pushed not only by love and fascination, but also because I was broken inside. I had so much despair, and I was trying to find some knowledge and some kind of solid truth where I could hold. And I I learned and developed amazing knowledge in this process. I visited, I went from gypsies to esoteric schools to the shamans in deep Amazon in Peru, always looking, trying to find that kind of understanding of myself, and some place where I could really find peace and rest. And after looking in so many places, and I must confess, getting disappointed also so many times, I came to the accomplishment that if I was to give one more step, I should do it differently. I should stop this attempt to try to get so many answers, and should stop trying to fix myself, my feelings, fix what in reality cannot be fixed. I would have to learn how to live with the desperate feeling of being alone in this uh, wild, chaotic quantic soup where we live with no answers, because actually every answer we can give to life is a very basic interpretation from our senses and our mind of something much bigger that actually doesn't fit inside our so limited interpretative mind, something called mystery. When I made this change and started to contemplate life and its mystery as it really is, I could not find the kind of peace I was looking for at the beginning, but something much deeper, the peace of being able to behold the chaos that exists around and inside me. And from this inner instance, this inner place, this same chaos can be beautiful, can make sense, and can be constructive. And this is the base of my study and of my work.
Beautiful. And so, you know, when you're talking, I can kind of almost feel some of the journey, you know, that you've been on. And it's so pertinent to now, isn't it? Just understanding, finding peace amongst the chaos. We're all searching some peace amongst the chaos at the moment. So let's unpack it a little bit, because you've got so much wisdom for everybody. So our summit is Journey Beyond Yourself. And when I was speaking with you about the title, you were suggesting that a good place to start is deconstructing what on earth I mean by journeying beyond yourself. So what is the self, and what is it that we're trying to go beyond? So should we start there?
Yes, I love the idea. I see this construction we have, this idea we have about ourselves, very limitative, right? And we human beings are constantly trying to understand everything, understand ourselves, understand life. This is part of this brilliant mind, intellect that makes us so unique, and we have developed science and so much thanks to that. But we must see all the horizon where it can take us, and also its limitations, if we are willing to really explore ourselves and life. So it is actually, there is not a solid limitation between us and our environment. When we start thinking about uh, our own biology, we have trillions of cells all dying and born new ones at the speed of 100 million per minute. It's so much life and death happening right now inside our body, and we have only half of our body is made of our genetic material. The rest are bacteria, fungi, other microorganisms also exist. We are a whole community. There's so much life, and this whole thing is capable of creating this environment, this life, creating us in a certain sense, right? And we go deeper. We have atoms a huge amount of atoms, which are basically made of empty space, and some few particles vibrating and generating all this energy, all this movement that results in our life and consciousness and so on. Uh, what but is there a clear division between these atoms, this quantic energy that resides in our body, and what is in our environment? There is not. The so we are all this energy, this movement of life happening around us. We have the same. We have the quantic soup. We have an amount, endless uh, amount of energy and of possibilities.
Mm.
The way we see reality, what we configure as the basic elements that we can call you, me, um, wood, ocean, air, and so on, is all conditioned to the way our senses, our biology uh, can interpret this uh, ocean of possibilities
Mm.
and creating an hologram of it.
Mm.
Our reality is a construction of our senses and mind. Our brain projects it, and we call it reality. But it is just some snippets, some piece of
Yes.
much broader
Yeah.
reality that our brain could take and put together to create this, uh, let's say, personal and human collective reality. And the brain does the same about ourselves, the same as around us. We are an infinite universe of possibilities. Our brain, our psyche takes a piece of that uh, to project what we call self. And it's made of these uh, kind of pictures of some of our inner landscapes and the story we tell about ourselves. Right? We humans, seek for stories to assign meaning to everything we see, we experience, and especially to ourselves. But all the story, all the identity, everything we know as ourselves is just a little fragment
Mm.
of what we really are.
Mm.
And when we are capable of understanding that, we can start finding detachment for exploring beyond it.
Mm. Yeah. So we all we construct our reality based on our own experiences and thoughts and sensory perceptions, and we all live in our little individual realities that is a tiny portion of what's actually reality. What, how do we, why, how and why do we constrict ourselves and make this smaller reality become so real and so constrictive?
I I see it constrictive, but also magical, necessary. How would that be like living with without it?
Mm.
Uh, can you imagine? You look around you and you see atoms. You look at your hand and you don't know how to define it. You see so many layers of energy, of possibilities, right? And so when we started turning something so dynamic as life into something so concrete, solid.
Mm.
It gives us elements to exist here,
Mm.
right? That's how we could find a root and master some things in life and could get where we have got.
Mm.
So I think of it as fascinating. What can be imprisoning and constrictive as our reality is can also be structure,
Mm.
and we need this structure. We need these solid parameters so we can safely um, move around. We can find a route in life to uh, even collectively create or shape our reality, and even for exploring beyond. Mm. Uh, and as a shaman, I am constantly exploring new, different levels of reality, going beyond.
Mhm.
Mm. Through ayahuasca and medicines, through deep meditation, breath work, exercise. And many times I could find myself in territories of energetic chaos, of so much life and movement that it would be devastating to
Mm.
if I would just be there forever. And so for many times I could say thanks to this constructive structure and reality, because I have a place where I can safely come back.
Yes, yes, yes. And yet, people come to you to transform and break out of the reality that they've created for themselves, right? What typically do people feel trapped by? And how do you, and I know you do so many different things, but can you almost concise or define how you help them out of whatever it is that they're feeling trapped within that has brought them to come to you to say, I know there's something greater out there. Help me to kind of see it, help me to access it, or help me to get out of this thing that I feel trapped in just now.
Yeah. One of the most uh, common situations I see in like in the roots of people's struggles is not a condition of human nature. It's not something that we were born with, but it's the consequence of the social thinking
Mm-hmm.
over our mind and head, the
Mm-hmm.
way our society programs us to think ourselves, and how it shapes our relationship with ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I see many people coming to me uh, trying to fix what cannot be fixed
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning, right? Like I am a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I my feelings, my emotions are a problem. My anxiety is a problem. My anger is a problem. My sadness is a problem. I'm trying hard, but I cannot get rid of that. Uh, uh, so uh, when and uh, when I invite someone to stop and let's see, look at the things you call problem, and sometimes they are emotional, as I'm uh, telling now, but sometimes are some specific situations in life. But you start looking deep, and you see that the relationship you have with yourself is the real problem
Mm-hmm.
you have. That instead of rejecting yourself or fighting against yourself, instead of creating so much struggle, there is another path. You can stop and you don't need to see aspects of your being as monsters.
Mm.
You can take a different approach.
Mm.
And once you deconstruct the hologram you created about certain aspects of yourself,
Mm.
what it you treated as an enemy, as a kind of a disease or a flaw of nature, is actually potential, is energy, can be beautiful. For
Mm.
example, our anxiety is part of the condition of being human, of being alive. It's
Mm.
something that cannot be defeated,
Mm.
cannot be solved,
Mm.
but you can use that as fuel, as constructive energy. If you go to this place, to this reservoir of energy, there's so much creative energy
Mm.
and power
Mm.
there. Our anger, we need it in order to survive
Mhm.
in the world, right? If you're only love, you uh, okay, you have a beautiful heart, but you won't have the power, the energy to say no, to
Mm.
defend yourself to certain situations. And that's with every one of our emotions. They have their place.
Mhm.
But when we are in conflict with them, they become destructive.
Mhm.
So uh, my work, my task is basically uh, helping people to dance, to have a constructive, a positive relationship with all these elements we have inside, seizing the judgments and just learning to flow wisely, constructively with all of them.
Mm. Yeah, such wise words, and everybody I think will be able to identify with that and find some solace there. So it's about not dividing parts of ourselves against one another, but recognizing all of our parts and transmuting that energy, really transmuting it from something that we didn't feel was useful into a different creative way to use the essence of that emotion in an energetic way for good, to help ourselves instead of against ourselves.
Yes, exactly.
And it sounds as well from what you were saying is, because I often think, we're born as these just perfect, pure, potential possibilities of everything, and then as we grow, we're just told, we tell ourselves, or we hear from society or other people, well, you can't do that, and you can't do this, and we can't do this. And I feel like the expansive possibility is just kind of lessened and lessened and lessened, and we put all these layers on ourselves that it's hard to actually come back into the possibility. And it sounds like with your work, what you do is almost, I've got a picture of kind of evaporating these layers away so that we come back to our true essence. So it's not that you're encouraging people to take on different things, but you're encouraging people to let go of those layers to get back to the true essence. Is that accurate?
Yes, I think so. And the first layer we receive is our own name, right? A baby, a newborn baby is limitless. It's connected to everything. And then first we received a name, and this name comes with a full set of expectations, with also with an interpretation, right? Of our parents see uh, this limitless creature through their own lenses,
Yeah.
and these lenses have already their interpretations of how we are supposed to be. And this is imposed upon us. Then we receive a whole uh, educational process in family, at school, and so on. And these are fundamental layers that have helped us to create some structure to construct a solid sense of gravity where our consciousness will be uh, uh, grounded. But uh, at a certain point, something happens because we uh, end up developing into a hologram, which was not constructed by us only,
Mm.
right? We we uh, learned that we are what first what our parents said or thought we are. That's what we learned. We first learned about ourselves. This first identity, this is not our true self,
Mm.
but what they saw in us. And
Mm.
then we keep receiving information, and we are so immersed inside of that that we do not question. Oh, that's what a human being is supposed to be. Like nowadays, we have Instagram and Facebook, and you open that, you see everybody smiling, happy, visiting the coolest place in the world, traveling around. We imagine that this is the natural thing to do. That's how we are supposed to be. We are supposed to consume, to purchase well, more and more things. And we are supposed to be happy, to be successful. All these social myths
Mm. Mm.
are so present in our society that we just consider that natural. And we start torturing ourselves silently, unconsciously, because we are not like that. Because
Mm.
nobody is this happy, successful, perfect as we have learned to paint, as our society paints to
Mm.
us, right? And we carry so much frustration because of that. We struggle so much against our own selves.
Mm.
We try so much to find, to get in a certain place in life, inside, like we try to be happier, to be more loving, to be more perfect, and outside we try to be more prosperous, more successful, to have a better shape, and so on. And uh, this whole movement leaves us frustrated, leads us to frustration, to so much pain, while we already have so many resources inside. If we just stop to really appreciate, to enjoy the life, the mystery, the beauty, the love unfolding within us now. And also, if we stop to really look to our path, to see and to celebrate and honor the achievements, right? Everything we have done so far, what it costed us to be alive and to be where we are in our lives, instead of just being pushing, frustrated because we believe we should do more and be more. So when you make this shift, you start breaking free from this social conditioning, and you have the possibilities to enjoy this life, this spark of a life of divine fire you are. And in this place, there is everything you need to live a beautiful, fulfilled life.
Mm.
And then you can start you will keep doing things and um pursuing more, but not from a place of frustration of oh, I must do that in order to fix this anxiety, this fear or whatever, but from a place of I wanna. This is how I'm going to honor my creative spirit. I will challenge myself. I will develop this life I have inside. I will uh, bring their fruit to life.
Mm, beautiful. I know that a lot of people talk about the importance of the present moment. You know, there's this big mindfulness movement, but I'd love for you to just talk about it for a moment, because I know that you express it in a way that, you know, that's where our real magic and mystery and everything is, in when we really become skillful at finding that deep presence um, of just where we're at. And I wonder if, this is a bit asked, but I wonder if you've got any practical tips for people listening. There's many, you know, do you recommend going into nature? I mean, I know you do, but for people in everyday lives, is it about closing our eyes every day and just taking a moment? Or is there some techniques that people can integrate into finding that deep presence in the moment that I know that you are passionate about finding, because that's where the magic is?
The most important tip I can give is not to go to nature, is not to go anywhere else, is not to stop, but to be present in the place that are uncomfortable
Mm.
to you,
Mm.
right? Like there are these moments when all you want is for some emotion to pass, to
Mhm.
disappear. If you can be present exactly there, this
Mhm.
can be so constructive,
Mhm.
right? Learn to be present in your anxiety.
Mm.
When learn to be present in your frustration.
Mm.
Usually, when we are anxious or frustrated, when we are experiencing something uncomfortable, um, all we want is for that to disappear. And we are capable of making horrible choice pushed by that,
Mm.
right? Like uh, as I was saying, all our emotions um, are essential components
Mm.
of us,
Mm.
right? We have uh, and there is nothing wrong with them. Anxiety, fear, anger are so important as love, happiness, pleasure, joy, and uh, we but we turn certain emotions into problems.
Mhm.
Oh, I am anxious. There is something wrong with me. So you start creating more anxiety over your natural anxiety. And
Mm.
that can become a real problem because then uh, uh, you make it really big inside, and you can start looking for a solution for your pseudo problem. Oh, maybe there's something wrong with me. I'm this anxious. Maybe I am anxious because I I don't have a because I'm alone. I don't have a partner in my life, and it can make someone make a terrible choice in
Mhm.
their love life. People, I saw people having creating family and having children not because they really wanted, were ready to create a family, but for anxiety because they thought that would give them uh, like get them rid of this of some very uncomfortable kinds of anxiety, and it doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So the best tip I can give is to learn to be present in what's uncomfortable for
Yes.
you. To learn to really um, stand being with the intense nature of your emotions.
Mm.
Whatever uh, you are doing, you can be present there and you can learn to enjoy it as uh, the creative, dynamic power of life, which unfortunately is not comfortable,
Mm. Mm.
right? But is uh, our own nature. If we don't learn it, we will spend our lives running away from ourselves. We
Mm.
can achieve amazing things in life. We can go to many places, but we would end up exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, we must face ourselves and learn to live in peace with what is chaotic
Mm.
within.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. So many people. We all run away from things or divert feeling in certain ways or cover it up, or, and as you say, unless we feel comfortable with those parts of us, they're not going to go away. They're going to creep up. The steam's going to blow at some stage, or they're just always there, aren't they? The one thing you can't get away from is yourself. So I guess embrace it all. Yeah, that's a brilliant tip. Thank you. That's a brilliant tip. I wonder if I could ask you another thing that I know is going to serve people watching this, because I have many conversations with people around purpose, and people seem to have a new anxiety around finding their purpose and what that is, you know. And I heard you um, talking about finding your purpose in a way that I'd never heard it quite before, that made so much sense, and it was to do with your emotions. Would you mind sharing us your take on how to find your purpose and what works with that?
Yes, I I see that we all have this uh, calling for uh, our purpose uh, very clear within. And if you don't know what's your purpose, the first tip I can give you is to listen to what you are most looking for in your emotional life. Maybe it is love, maybe it is stability,
Mm.
maybe you want to be understood. And these emotions are uh, deep calling from your nature.
Mm.
And you can spend they tell a lot about yourself, about what your values are.
Mm.
But there is a shift you can make. You can spend your life uh, looking for that outside of you, or you can make a commitment with these same values, right? If what really matters in your life is love, why not stop pursuing love outside of you and turn this quest into a commitment?
Mm.
Make a commitment with love. So, if what you look for is stability, you feel that you need uh, some stability, you need to feel more safe and protected, you can make a commitment with this in your life to be someone to bring more stability, protection, to take care of those around you. And one of the things that I think mess with our connection with our purpose nowadays is that our society turned purpose into some big messianic task. But our purpose is something that we accomplish every day. You don't need to change the world. Actually, it means nothing because the word changed today is just a grain in the infinite of life that will be destroyed in 1 second of this gigantic organism called Gaia, called life. But yes, if you are present in your life, right, and not hypnotized about so big things, and you can see around, you will find your place in life quite naturally. Once you are you understand what's important for you, which are your values, you can just stick to that, and you will naturally, spontaneously, basically contribute with the best you have inside for the ones around. And yes, this brings so much peace and fulfillment.
Mm. Mm. And you talk about, because that's kind of, we have to slow down enough to then start to ask the questions, what are our values and what emotions do I want? So I love that starting point, because you have to slow down to do that. And we also have to trust what we hear, right, from ourselves. So I know that you also talk about trusting your instincts, and that our best selves comes from when we listen to ourselves, and we just make decisions, and we go by our instincts and that kind of gut. Some people get confused about what's the voices they hear. I don't mean auditory voices, I mean what's my instinct and what's from somebody's perception of me that's not truly me. Do you have any tips on how to start to hear that authentic voice that we can trust as our own inner wisdom, our own good instincts, whatever you want to call that?
Ah, listen to your passion first, right? What where is your fire? Where is your energy calling you to? We got too concerned about doing the right thing, and I think your question brings a lot to that. Like, so from all these voice in my mind, which the right one?
Mm,
From all these possibilities I have, which the right?
mm,
What's the right thing to do? But what if there is no right
mm,
thing to do? This right choice is a myth and
mhm,
a torturing,
mm,
imprisoning
mm,
one. We live our lives with this struggle, this constriction, like if we must do it right, we must make the right choice.
mm,
What if we make a mistake? Actually, when you take a step back in time and connect with your inner child, you
mm,
can go to a place of playfulness.
mm,
And this is a much healthier place to exist
mm,
in life,
mm,
right? Let's understand that we live in a world which is basically made of interpretations. Our collective reality is far from being perfect.
mm.
Our society was constructed upon stories we have been telling, which are far from being the truth,
mm,
the facts.
mm,
And so, uh, in this, uh, so uh, let's say, imperfect world, right? Living this mortal life, right? Being part of this nature, which is at once so beautiful and so terrible. We have just this small time here. We can think of it, oh, I must do it right, or you can give, you can turn the fuck off button and let me enjoy and explore and play with that in this so short time and here. Let me at least have some fun.
yes.
And when when you do that, you can explore much better. You can find much more freedom. uh, and even when you make some, let's say, mistakes, they are not mistakes, they are attempts. You are learning,
Yeah.
right? You are exploring with fascination, so you start taking it easy with yourself, and your life will get much more joyful, much more productive, and much more creative, because you allow yourself to experience without the burden of doing the right thing, of take the right choice.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. Even that is taking the limits that we've placed on ourselves away. Just that. So I'd love to ask you, you've given us so much. And I know that you believe and that you know that we're so much more than we think that we are. What would be your number one, or you can give us three if you like, but what would be your number one tip for people to do to expand beyond their current limits, whatever that is for them? How would be your number one tip to just expand out of what you currently think are your limitations?
So simple to just breathe,
Mm,
right? To uh, enjoy the very fact of being alive, and there is so much in the air around us. Every time you are breathing, you are in a relationship with life,
mm,
right? And uh, we pursue so many things. We are a factory of dreams.
mm,
It's beautiful, our nature, but we can live our lives hypnotized about all the things we want to reach, all the uh, things we want to achieve outside and within ourselves, or we can live our lives from a place of power, of this is who I am, this is where I am now. So let me celebrate it.
mm,
And you can celebrate it by just breathing, by just bringing this air, this life to your chest and feeling, yes, this is my taste. This is the taste of my blood. This is who I am. And this is what I have to blow, to share with life. Right. And so just take a few moments in your day to stop pursuing
mm,
anything, and grab your power. Doesn't matter if you feel you are broken, you are destroyed. This is who you are and where you are now, and you are sacred. maybe tomorrow will be completely different, you will feel better, but doesn't matter. Be with you and breathe with power.
Mm.
Put yourself together in your breath and don't go beyond yourself, but go beyond the limitations
Mm.
in your mind that have made you believe that you are not enough.
Mm. Mm. Beautiful. You're just full of this wisdom, but you express it like a poet. Everything you say, it's just beautiful.
I guess because I'm in love with
Yeah,
this universe I live in, the knowledge.
you express it. It comes through you. It just comes through you. It's beautiful. I could talk to you all day, but I appreciate your time and I respect your time. And I am so grateful that you gave us your time today. I know that you have an amazing course at the moment called Out of the Box. That we'll be putting all the details of here under the video. So I encourage everybody to just delve deeper in with you and dive deeper and, you know, really go on the experience of life, guided by you, I guess, guided back to it by you. So thank you.
Yes, out of the box is a workshop for basically finding your own way in life.
Mm,
The title is exactly about that, and the whole purpose of the journey is to learn to get out of all these boxes, these layers where society have been putting ourselves for so long that we start doing the same to ourselves. So it's a journey back to our uniqueness and
mm,
to our inner freedom. But thank you so much. It's been a lovely time. You are an awesome interviewer, and I appreciate very much this time and this opportunity to be with you, Sally, and with all these amazing people who are listening, joining us today.
well, you've given us so much. Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you in Australia very soon.
Yes, I hope. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Ruda, and all the best. Have a wonderful day.
Bye bye.